going on, Jerome's? So this is probably the most frustrated I've been, flummoxed, flabbergasted, lots of F words about this win, right? So 8-point win as 3-point dogs. It's fantastic, but it should have been a lot more. Juicy up 24-3, 27-3, and then just like Kevin O'Connell just like puckered up and got too conservative, and the Saints came roaring back, but the Vikings defense made some great plays at the end. Jameis Winston serving up a couple of meatballs. It's great. It's fantastic. 5-game winning streak, the longest in the National Football League, and making some hay in the NFC playoff chase. It's fantastic. It is. But before we get into it, big shout out to Howard coming over from Leeds, season ticket holder who lives in the UK. Crazy, man. Huge Jerome. Got to meet him. Got to meet his buddy Thor and his amazing kid Ella yesterday, even though her Taylor Swift takes are bad. Anyways, that's a whole nother video for another day. But love meeting the fans and love that people who get to enjoy this magic carpet ride. It's a really good time. Also a good time is our Thanksgiving fundraiser, raising funds for Twin Cities food shelves. All Venmos, all Super Chats go straight towards the Twin Cities food shelf charities. Big shout out to our guy Michael, who made a big time donation and just very, very humbled. We don't really beat the drum too often. When Margaret has school fundraisers or around the holidays, but when we do, you guys are more than generous. You guys are fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So getting into the game, so Josh Dobbs, first half, all the passion out, all the stuff was going on. He's hitting the Jordan shrug, and we're thinking, okay, here we go. 24-3, going to be a lot more, and it's going to be beautiful, man. But I mean, the game got tight, and it wasn't even that Josh Dobbs played bad in the second half. It's just that Kevin O'Connell and this offense was just inert. So 1 field goal, 1 missed field goal, 5 punts, right? And it's almost like Kevin O'Connell just was a coward in the second half. That's basically what it was, and you're playing not to lose as opposed to trying to win. But there were winners and losers from the game. First half, Josh Dobbs. He was amazing, man. So look comfortable in the pocket, running around, making plays happen, scrambling on third down, finding TJ, scrambling for the touchdown, which is great. 23-34 for 268 and a tutty, 101.1 quarterback rating, as well as 44 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Josh Dobbs, it's not a fluke. It's not something that isn't replicatable. Like him in the pocket, like he's got a good feel for pressure, and he doesn't just run to run. Like he's trying to find movement to be able to make a throw downfield. He throws strikes. He is not afraid to go vertical. So I really like Josh Dobbs in this spot where I'm not ready to say right now that Josh Dobbs will be the quarterback of the future in 2024. He's only going to be 29 years young in January, but he's doing a good job. And frankly, if he plays at this level the rest of the season, I think that he will have make a really good case for it, because Kirk Cousins is going to be 36 in August, and Dobbs and his movement skills just brings another dimension to this team. Winner number 2, first half, TJ Hawkinson. So he's got the ribs. He was banged up. The Saints, especially Lattimore, were taking dirty shots at him. 11 catches for $134 and 1. Now, 10 of those catches were in the first half. And as someone who has Hawkinson in fantasy and a PPR, I was thinking, this is all right. I'm coming to Elizabeth. This is the big one. This is going to be the 50 burger. But, I mean, we're happy with 30-plus points. But, first half, Kevin O'Connell play calling was fantastic. He's adapted very well to Dobbs. He called a second great game against a good defense. Both the Falcons and the Saints are top 6, top 7-ish. But it was just so frustrating in the second half. We got overly conservative, and it was a spot where the Vikings, if they got another field goal at any point, or if they stacked up a first down on the final 2 drives, they win. They're able to drain the clock, and you keep Jameis off the field. And here's my assertion too: the Saints needed Derek Carr off the field, and it's unfortunate it took an injury, but Derek Carr was not going to lead this comeback. Jameis Winston was, because Jameis Winston plays a very high variance style of football, and they needed that. They needed to win big to get back into this, and they did on a couple of plays. Yes, they were greatly aided by officiating, but we'll get to that. But then ultimately, again, high variance, and sometimes you 7 out. That's what Jameis did at the end. Also with Flores, selective heat. First half had them in jail, about 110 yards of offense in the first half. Second half, and they made some timely plays, although they gave up a couple drives. Josh Metellus, sneaky pressures on Carr and Jameis up the middle. I think 44 is really the straw that stirs the drink on this defense. Forced that interception to Mekhi Blackmon. Also 7 tackles, 5 solo. Like 44 was on one today, man. Absolutely. Danielle Hunter got a sack, so he's got 11 on the season, earned $1 million bonus. Also had 3 quarterback hits, and was the victim of one of the most egregious officiating calls that I've ever seen, where he got his helmet ripped off because Penning went illegal hands to his face, but Danielle got called for illegal hands to face, and it's just ridiculous, man. It's just so stupid. Gave him the fresh set of downs on 3rd and 10. James had just thrown it incomplete. It was just. We'll get into it. Well, yeah, offensive line. So Darius and O'Neal had Granderson and Cam Jordan at witness protection. Ed Ingram has really stepped up nicely. Also, only 4 quarterback hits allowed all day, which is great to see. Also, I do think that Dobbs' mobility does help out the offensive line greatly. Wanham, so almost had himself a strip sack, but DJ's played extremely well over the last couple weeks. And if Marcus Davenport actually does come back from injured reserve, I don't think that it's 100% that he just takes over the starting job again. I think DJ Wanham has earned that. Harrison Smith, so move the pockets on blitzes, setting the edge, great open field tackling, 5 tackles, 4 solo. Harrison is really stepping up and stepping out. Like he's really doing the damn thing right now. Jordan Addison, great first half. Fantastic first half. 4 catches for 69 on 5 targets, but then had to drop in the second half, but either way, rising up and proving that he's a wide receiver 1 in his own right, even when Justin Jefferson gets back. Mekhi Blackmon. So Addison and Blackmon are one of the only things that have gone well for USC in recent weeks. That's about it. But Blackmon, interception in the second half. Also, he had 2 passes broken up. 2 tackles as well. Now he's forced into the lineup because of Caleb Evans got hurt, but Blackmon definitely deserves some more work. Brandon Powell. So basically wide receiver 2 with JJ and KJ out, but a third down machine. Clearly has some chemistry with Dobbs, resonating from his game-winning catch last week. Powell needs to stay in the mix even after JJ and KJ get back. Ivan Pace Jr. Filled in well for Hicks. Run fills, communications, leading this defense. 5 tackles, 3 solo. Jonathan Bullard, who's more of a run stuffer and has played really well the last couple weeks, got himself a strip sack late in the game. Also, Najee Thompson, a huge punt return tackle towards the end of the game, saving the Vikings some really good field position. And also equipment manager Dennis Ryan, former equipment manager, longtime stalwart of the Vikings. He was at the game. He's involved in the festivities. The equipment room is named after him. It's fantastic. He's a life winner. Love to see it, man. Also, also jet black hair. It's great. It's great, man. Losers. So second half, the Vikings puckered. Like they were playing not to lose, and it showed. And guess what? When you play not to lose, sometimes you lose. And it's something where the Vikings under Kevin O'Connell, like every single game seems to be a single score. They got to have that killer instinct, and they didn't have it today. The refs. So we talked a little bit about that Danielle decision, which is just egregious, where you have a foul committed on you, but you get called for the penalty. I don't know how this officiating crew isn't reprimanded for that, because that did give the Saints life, because it was going to be 4th and 10, or 3rd and 15, or whatever, 4th and 15, whatever. Either way, it's just ridiculous. Madison unfortunately went out with a concussion, but just negative runs. And he did have some life in the start of the second half. It's like he read everyone's tweets at halftime. But it's clear that Ty Chandler needs to be RB1. F the Saints, F them into the sun, F this franchise. I'm glad that they're in cap hell and may not be able to field a team next year, so screw them. Screw them right in the face. Greg Joseph, I know that 54-yarders aren't a gimme, but so many times Greg Joseph has missed a kick, whether this year or last year, which would have made it a 2-score game, and it remains a 1-score game, and the other team still has life. Also, second half, Byron Murphy. I know that he caught that interception at the end, basically the arm punt from Jameis, which totally redeems herself. But second half, Murphy is getting cooked by Olave, outfought by A.T. Perry on that touchdown. Head penalties is just kind of a mess. Just kind of a mess overall. But either way, it's like, I mean, there are some good takeaways from this. I do think that you can win a lot of games with Josh Dobbs. I do think this defense is rounding into form as a top 10 adjacent unit. They will get after you. I love the next man up mentality of this team. I love the way the offensive line is playing. Danielle Hunter needs to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. And the Vikings, frankly, are the most dangerous team in the NFC. And I say that without a hint or a trace of irony. We're on to Denver, and there's no reason why the Vikings can't be on a 7-game winning streak heading into the bye. 8-game heading into the Bengals game. It's going to be a showdown, but love it, man. But like I said, extremely stressful. Like, way more stressful than it should be, man. Anyways, that's it. Your winners and losers from the Vikings. What was the final score? 27, Saints 19. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.